This Tacoma is blowing smoke right up my ass. What is wrong with this thing? Let's find out. Let's get started. This is a 2019 Toyota Tacoma. It's been in here before for a fuel pump. And as you can imagine, right after we did that work, he claims he can't put gas in his gas tank. So it came back for possible warranty work. We're going to show you today what we found with that. These are really good trucks. We've talked about the 25, 26 cars not being very reliable, but this is before all the craziness that's happening today. This is 2019 Tacoma, and it has some really interesting features on the engine I'm going to show you today as well. Let's take a look around this Tacoma. So this is the 4-post lift that Mrs. Wizard hates the most, especially filming on it because it's so tight all around here. Let's go ahead and do a tour around this Tacoma and take a look at it. Here's the front of it. I really do like, these look like the forerunners of this era. Has the big black grille, very nice looking Tacoma. And one thing you're seeing as we go down the side is lots of dirt. And that's going to come into play towards the end of this video. You can see we do have some parts already removed from the vehicle. As far as dents and rust and things, it's in great shape. It is a V6, 4x4 Tacoma, and equally nice on that side, but again, lots of dirt. Let's go ahead and hop under the hood. For those of you that have been watching me for a while know having the right tools to diagnose and work on cars today is essential. It's also essential to have the right clothes. My uniforms are great when the weather is perfect, but that's hardly ever the case here in Kansas, especially now that it's winter. Their Chevlin hoodie is great when I need to take cars in and out of the shop. Kansas has some brutal wind that this hoodie laughs at. What I really like about this hoodie is a full zipper and dual pockets, one for my hands and one for my phone. Plus it's lightweight enough I can easily work in it. Their line of boots are just awesome. Brunt knows what people working in the field, factory, or shop really need. The other guys might have one or two styles, but Brunt has 15. Do you need safety toe, waterproof, pull-on, or EH-rated boots? In my case, I needed these slip and oil-resistant Revas. These work shoes are great. Brunt has the perfect shoes for you too. Brunt specializes in making quality gear that won't break the bank, and they're so confident you'll love their products, they let you try out any of their gear on the job. If you don't love it, send it back. Don't get that person on your Christmas list imitation gear. Get them Brunt workwear. It will make their life so much more comfortable. Especially for you, my viewers, get $10 off their first purchase today by going to bruntworkwear.com/carwizard10. That's bruntworkwear.com/carwizard10 and use the code CARWIZARD10. Link is in the description. Now back to this Tacoma. So unlike a lot of Tacomas, FJ Cruisers, and things of the past that had the tried and true 4-liter V6, this one has a 3.5 V6. These are pretty powerful, pretty good, but they have some really cool technology that Toyota and several brands are starting to go to. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So the question could be, does this engine have port injection or does it have direct injection? The answer is both. We can see a fuel rail right here. This is for the port injection. This is low pressure as in 40, 50 PSI. Normal fuel injectors they've been using since the 90s. And down through this hole, it's hard to see, guys. It's hard to show you, but there is high pressure fuel rails and direct injection injectors down there. So is this a good change or a bad change? And it's good because the reason why, they're trying to alleviate the issues with carbon fouling on the intake valves. So at different periods, it switches between port injection and direct injection, depending on the load on the engine or what you're doing with it. And it can keep those intake valves sparkly clean. But when they're wanting for maximum power or fuel economy, they can switch over to direct injection. It's really cool, the idea, but instead of now having 6 injectors, you have 12. It kind of complicates things. I don't know how this is going to pan out over the next 20 years as things start to fail. You can say if my fuel pump died or fuel injection is having issues, and it'll be which one, the low pressure or the high pressure. It has both. It can make it really complicated to diagnose things. I've heard these are pretty good engines, they got good power, but time is going to have to tell how these hold up. It's hard to tell in just a year or 2 or 3. Oh, these are going to be great. It needs to be 10 years or more to know those were great engines or no, they were terrible. So we'll find out as time goes on. Let's go ahead and jump into the interior and let Mrs. Wizard show you guys around a 2019 Tacoma.
There you have it, 105,739 miles. This baby is barely broken in, but okay, you're going to notice one common theme on the inside as well, and that is dust. Lots of dust in here as well, and that's kind of a problem when you live on a dirt road. As we move up, oh look, the dust. But again, maybe that dust is protecting that underneath because I don't see anything really wrong, no scratches, nothing spilling out. Big round dials for our HVAC system. As we move over, we have a nice infotainment screen. We have what's becoming common for Toyota, very simple, very easy dials and switches and buttons for their HVAC systems and other controls. So look down there, got a little bit of a hidey spot there. And oh, it looks like they've got some Tylenol or some Advil there. It looks like they might have been having a bit of a headache with this truck. Move back, we've got 2 cup holders there. Another cup holder here. We've got our gear selector and our emergency brake and our nice little armrest here. Oh, and there's a couple of cup holders back there for the back seat people as well. So what's under here? Let's take a peek. We've got a knife, a couple of bits of change. Ooh, they've got some pennies. Those are going to be valuable now that they don't make those anymore. And we can lift this up, a nice little spot underneath to hide things. So really nice. I like that they have this extra tray. That is very handy because it kind of keeps things segregated from just one big spot to dump things. Nice seat covers here. This is not stock, but it does look really nice with the red stitching on it. Looking good. Not sure what's underneath, but live in mystery because we're not going to find out because the customer installed it. We're not taking it apart. Door card's looking good. Nothing's broke. Everything's looking good. Back seat is also looking good. A lot of gray seating back there. I like the texture to the center section of the seats, and we've got kind of a bit of stuff tore apart down there. The seats move forward. Things are up and about, but headliner looking good. It's a darker, kind of a dark charcoal gray. And we're back to that steering wheel. I've got simple controls there on that steering wheel, which is kind of new to Toyota. They haven't always done that, but they're getting more modern as time goes on. So enough of this interior talk. Let's get this up in the air and see what it looks like on the underneath.
One thing I really like about Toyota is here we are in 2019 with the year model of this vehicle, and we're still not cheaping out. We're doing metal pans on the bottom. I really, really like that. I don't see any coolant or anything leaking from the radiator core support area. Everything looks good there. Here's our engine oil pan, nothing leaking there as well. We are seeing lots of this dirt, lots of mud. The brakes are about 90% remaining or more. CV boots are good. Bilstein struts are not blown. The steering rack boots are not leaking. Everything looks pretty good there. Good brakes. No leaking strut. CV boots are good. Sway bar link is good. Everything looks good on this side as well. Being a 2019 Toyota, we know that they're not known for leaking a lot. And with only 105,000 miles, I don't anticipate to find lots of leaks, and we really haven't. Our transmission is nice and dry. We might recommend to the customer at 105,000 miles, we might look into doing a transmission service soon, because I don't buy the sealed for life from any brand, any manufacturer. I don't care. Here's our transfer case. Again, nothing leaking there. We do see exhaust is 2 into 1, and then 1 into the muffler. Here's our drive shaft. Everything looks good there. Nothing loose. We do have the fuel tank removed, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But it had an issue filling up with fuel. It wouldn't allow you. It actually splashed fuel out, and you had to go really slow to get any gas in it. We've checked all the hoses, all the evap devices, everything through here. We pulled the fuel tank down because it's like, this is really great customer. We want to get to the bottom of it for them. We did get to the bottom of it, and it's really strange, but we'll show you that as soon as we get the truck on the ground. One thing that's really interesting too, we're here in 2019 on a Toyota truck, and we're still using drum brakes. Take a look. Good old tried and true drum brakes, no discs in the back. Our Bilstein shocks are leak-free, doing a good job. I don't see any brake fluid or anything leaking there. Again, same thing over here. Again, lots of this dirt and mud, but I don't see anything leaking. Again, we have the 2 into 1 exhaust, and it goes out the back, one single pipe all the way out in the back. We do have the spare tire removed because, again, we were checking the charcoal canister and a lot of things up in the framework area. Let's go ahead and check the date codes on these tires. It is getting to be a 6-year-old truck, almost 7, so let's take a look. So here we have some Cooper Discover HTPs, and we see the 10th week of 2024. These are a little over a year old, maybe 2 years old, so doing great. Let's get this thing on the ground and talk about it blowing smoke. What in the world is going on here? So I know some of you are thinking, you probably pinched a hose or you probably broke something going back in. And we don't do that kind of work, but we thought maybe that was possible. Also, some of you are probably screaming at the screen like, it's a charcoal canister. Obviously, that's what it is. And it's totally not. We removed the fuel tank, checked there's all little corrugated hoses like this everywhere. We thought maybe something could be clogged or plugged. I'll go ahead and blow through this one. It's clear, nothing's wrong with it. We did check the charcoal canister, it has good flow through it. We checked a lot of the electrical valves and things. Electrically, they open and close and seal like they're supposed to. Everything was checking out good. Let's go take a look at the fuel tank. We also checked, there's some evap hoses here, some breather hoses, there's a connection here, there's free flow through there, free flow through here, nothing blocking the filler neck going into the tank. Everything is good with the fuel pump assembly. Nothing was wrong at all. But you can see there's still so much of this dirt. It's just everywhere, mud all over the tank. Lots and lots of it. So let's continue our investigation onto what was going on here. So let's do a quick rundown of the evap system. What could cause this to not fill with gas? We checked the fuel tank, all the evap lines, nothing's blocked there. We checked the evaporative pump system. It works properly. We checked the charcoal canister. Again, we electrically operated all the valves. We're able to blow through. Everything's working just fine. Nothing's blocked. Nothing's plugged. We checked all the little hoses and pipes and things. Everything's free and clear. The filler neck itself is free and clear. We were like, what is it? What could it be? Because when we first got the vehicle here, we went and tested. We put some gas in. And sure enough, it won't take any gas. We're like, what is this? But Junior Mint's a vape bro. He's a big vape bro. He's heavy into the vapes. And I believe that's what caused us to find the problem. Let me go grab my little cart here. Here is the filler neck. This is where it connects up, where you actually put gas in right here. This connects to the fuel tank, and this is the breather pipe that goes up. Just looking at this, you know, I'm used to there being a possible evap filter, a dust filter, being separate, its own little piece somewhere on the frame or something. I didn't know that it's part of the filler neck on these. I learned something new today. I didn't know that it's actually part of the filler neck itself. We were looking at all kinds of different things, and finally Junior Mint was just joking around. He picked up the filler neck and he did this. You ready, guys? Oh, Mrs. Wizard, this is terrible.
Sorry, dear.
Look. Oh, you could almost cut that into lines. Ugh.
Wizard, you don't do drugs.
No, we don't do drugs on this channel. I'm just being silly, guys. But he was just joking, like a big vape pipe. And it actually did the whole vape thing. I mean, it just blew a giant cloud, massive cloud. And I was like, give me that thing. I started looking at it. And this little shape right here is the vent. This is the filter. Here's the new one. Brand new from Toyota. iSign is who makes it for Toyota. It just clips on onto the filler neck. This is the filter. So, Mrs. Wizard, it literally blew smoke up my ass.
Yeah, you do that to me a lot.
Yeah, definitely. It's funny, it's all joking aside, what does this do? So as you're filling up or while you're driving, fresh air needs to go into the fuel tank as the evap system is pulling the vapors into the engine and burning them. This is the filter that keeps crap and debris from getting into your fuel tank. And when it gets plugged, just like we saw, it's literally choked to death with dirt. And we've been seeing all the mud and dirt all over this vehicle. It can't exchange air for the fuel going in. And what does it do? It spits up fuel. It won't take any fuel. All because of all of this dirt. Isn't that strange? So this is definitely a great informative video for you guys that have a Tacoma or any, probably just a Toyota truck or vehicle of these years where you can't fill up and you're maybe somewhat mechanically savvy, or you do your own work and you're like, I can't find this filter that's supposed to filter dirt. It's on the filler neck itself. That's really, I've never seen that before. It's something new. Definitely wanted to share it with you guys. Now, this is definitely a situation where you can get into trouble. This is a great customer. I have no trouble with this customer. They're very understanding. I hope we do a whole lot more business for them. But one thing you need to be careful about, which again, this customer did not do to us, is that you just had work done and then something else goes wrong. And then you go in there and I mean, you're pointing your finger in the mechanic's chest. You broke my... Be careful about that. It can backfire right into your face. You need to be really careful about that. Because if you're really mean, and then you find out it was this dirt that caused the issue, it wasn't even the mechanic at all. The mechanic's probably going to finish up your car and say, don't come back. You just lost possibly a good mechanic. Be understanding, be kind. Because if you are, you will get kindness in return. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because there are so many shops out there that would blow smoke up your ass. They would find that it's just dirt in there. It needs a new little $50 filter. It's not a big deal, 50 or 100 bucks. I'm not sure what it was, and you're back in the game. But they would say, oh, you need this and a charcoal canister and that and that and that. It's going to be $1,500, and it needed none of that. So if you find that good mechanic that you can trust, make sure you don't go in yelling and screaming when things pan out like you didn't expect them to. This does appear, after the work was done, it started acting up. It does appear that it be something that was caused by Omega. But as we found, it was caused by this. I'm not going to push and rub on it, but I'm just showing you. All this dirt was the cause. It finally built up just in time as we just did this work. Kind of a bum deal, but again, this customer's great to deal with, really understanding. We told him what was wrong. He said, oh good, I'm glad you guys found it. Go ahead and charge me, go ahead and fix it, and we'll get this behind us. So again, definitely wanted to get a video out to you guys. If this happens to you, check the filler neck itself. They have the breathing filter built into the filler neck. Kind of a tongue twister there. If you're curious what kind of tools we're using to work on this Tacoma or any other car in the shop, check our Amazon affiliates link. A lot of great gift ideas there for friends and family. A lot of the tools we use in the shop are listed for sale there. We really do use them every single day, and they're tried and true. And if you purchase any of them, we get a small cut, and we really appreciate it. Make sure also to hit the subscribe button, because as we find more information out, just like this truck, we love to share it with you guys to help you guys out. Thanks for watching.